Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Dela Darisma Boyadi and I am from class 4C English Department, University of Mataram. So, what if I told you that recently many screenshots have been circulating on social media shocking the public due to an alleged case of sexual harassment in university? Some sources mentioned that around 60 students were allegedly involved with several students and lecturers reported as the victims. Along with these reports, there were also screenshots showing conversation in private group chats containing inappropriate and sexually suggestive remarks. Uh, at the first glance, people may think that these are just jokes, and just casual conversation or something that normal among students. But when we look deeper, they raise an important question, like how can such behavior happen and why is it sometimes treated as something normal. So this case reminds us that sexual violence does not only happen outside but can also occur in places that are supposed to be safe, such as educational institutions. And what makes it more concerning is that sometimes people around us may facing it but choosing to stay silent. So today I would like to talk about this issue because it's not just a only viral case on social media, but a real and serious problem within the world of education. So before we discuss further, let us first understand what sexual violence actually means. So, according to the World Health Organization or WHO, sexual violence is any sexual act carried out without the consent of the victim. This includes not only extreme cases like rape, but also behaviors that are often underestimated, such as unwanted touching, sexual jokes, harassment in message, or being forced to engage in sexual conversation. Because in many cases, people fail to recognize this action as a violence because they are often normalized in daily conversation or interaction. But the key point is consent. If it's not clear and violating agreement, then it's not acceptable. Now that we understand the definition, and let's see how this issue appears in context of university. So, in the context of education, especially university, this issue is not new because, as we know, campus are supposed to be safe space for learning and personal growth for students. But however, university also reflects social structures. And according to Michelle Foucault, power is not only about authority but also about how it is exercised in relationship. So relationships such as lecturer and students or senior and juniors can create power imbalance. And this imbalance can make victims feel afraid to speak up, especially when their academic future is at stake. And this is not a theoretical issue because there is a real data show how serious this problem is. So a study conducted by Rushidi and colleges in 2019 showed that this issue is very real because out of more than 25,000 respondents, around 25% reported experienced physical sexual harassment in university, and about 20% reported being forced to watch pornography content. So, if we image this in a classroom, several students may have experienced harassment, and yet many cases remain unreported. So, the questioning is, why does this continue to happen? One of the main cause is power imbalance because victims are often feel they have no choice because the perper- perpetrator hold on a higher position. Another major factor is victim blaming culture. Uh, as we know, people often questioning the victim instead of the per- perpetrator. In some case, perpetrators even assume that silence means consent. And however, this is a dangerous misconception because silence does not mean agreement, but it often reflects to fear or pressure to fight back. As a result, this situation do not just stop the incidents, but they create a serious impact. And the impacts are not only physical but also psychological and academic. Victim may experience trauma, anxiety, and loss of confidence. And academically, they might lose focus, motivation, or even drop out from the university. And this show that a single incident can affect someone's entire future. So, however, what we see publicly is often only a small part of the reality because what we see on social media is only the surface because many victims choose to stay silent because they are afraid of being judged or not believed, and this why sexual violence is often called an open secret. And this leads us to a critical problem in our society. society. Uh, Many victims are afraid to report because they are afraid of not being believed, afraid of being blamed, or even afraid of facing social pressure. And as a result, perpetrators remain unpunished while victims continue to suffer. So, what we do to address this issue? Uh, Universities should be safe space for everyone. It is important to raise awareness about consent, provide safe reporting systems, create a respectful campus culture, and as a students, we also have a role. Uh, we can support victims, refuse to normalize harassment, and speak up. And to conclude, let us reflect on why this issue matters. So, sexual harassment in university is not just an individual issue; it is an educational and humanitarian issue. And what we see on social media is only the surface. And what we need to do is not just awareness, but we take a real action because every student deserves to feel safe in their place of learning. And I think that's all for me. And thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.